Now presenting Mr. Mike Coyne, Governor's Hurricane Conference Board member representing the National Weather Service.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our next award is the Tropical Meteorology Award. It's presented to an individual or organization that has made outstanding or substantial contributions to the advancement and knowledge, application, or understanding of the hurricane forecasting and warning process in the state of Florida. Since 2004, Mr. Mike Boylan has been educating people about trends, model runs, and everything else tropical weather related through his website. He does not forecast, but his dedication and contributions to the citizens of Florida and providing tropical weather information in layman's terms, helping to explain what the forecast trends mean and how to follow all the extensive maps, charts, and graphs located on his website, Mike's weather page, aka spaghettymodels.com. The 2021 Tropical Meteorology Award goes to Mike Boylan of Mike's weather page.
Just click on Mike's page, jump on the nation. Will there always be some haters? They don't understand. Mike's got a friend and 100,000 more across the land. Well, if you want to know it first and you want to know it right and you want to have time to plan, Drunk Donkey Nation tells your friend, Mike, he's your man. And he's gonna tell you all about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you if it's gonna be a storm or if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news others try to hide. Click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide. Yeah, here on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide.
All right, everybody, what's up? Jamming to Andy Simmons, my man. Somebody just said hello from Cedar Key. Y'all had some storms this morning, I believe, didn't you? We had thunder rumbling here in Oldsmar just a minute ago. Got an earthquake, Joe just said, in Dominican Republic. Earthquakes are popping. We have a lot over the U.S. Oh, I didn't. Oh, number one. I always joke. I just told the Brew crew everything's been going good, and then I just forgot to hit the timer button. That's a joke. I'm a one-man band over here with a dog in my lap. Only one dog. One goes at the vet getting his shots. Shots. All right, so we got a lot to talk about. Hello, everybody. I'm sure people are tuning in that haven't seen us. We do go live all winter long. Every year I tell Shelly, I'm going to take the winter off. And then, of course, I'm like, we're going to go twice a week. I just dropped the Brew Crew camera or microphone. Bear with me. I don't want them missing out. Okay, there's my boy Louie. So, yeah, we're here, man, every step of the way. Right, Shelly? We'll be live today, tomorrow, Thursday. Emily, as you know, is moving out into college. I appreciate you guys and gals letting me share my life. Some don't like it, but that's the way it goes. I don't care. So Friday's questionable is what I'm getting at. If there's something seriously to watch, then we'll figure out a way to go live. I'll always do my little updated videos, though, no matter where I'm at. And right now, there's really no reason to be stressed with anything right now. There's nothing solid, it's always hard to messaging, and I always struggle with the tone that I want to be consistent with, and there's some that want to say nothing to worry about, but when there's models showing there might be something to worry about, I'm the guy that's going to say we got something to watch. That's basically it. I've always been that way. And that's just the way you're going to get. So if you want to be told everything's not, going to be okay, then you probably, some of the stuff I'm going to say might scare you a little bit. Because, tropics are tricky. Weather's tricky. And as we learn every year, weather does not do what it's told. So you never say never in the tropics. But as at this moment, all these little circles that we're looking at that the National Hurricane Center has, there's nothing imminent to say I'm worried. Weather, yes. All the bazillion, million, trillion questions about vacations in August and September, listen, this is not meant to be sarcastic, but it's hurricane season. It's August, it's September. There's always going to be a chance of something. So you just have to know that. And no canceling plans. None of this stuff that I'm posting is cancel plan worthy. Okay? The only thing I am a little concerned about is long range looking with the high pressure building back in and these waves coming up. So we're going to get into all that, I promise. Weather in a nutshell, Mary Carol. I met a guy that sells nuts. And I lost the email. If you're listening, man, I know I saw your email. And then if I read an email on my phone and I don't keep it as new, I forget about it. And I think I might have read it. So, Lacey, yeah. So we're going to say hi for a few minutes. So that's your cue to go get some coffee and take a potty break if that's what you want to do there. We're going to say hi for a few minutes. As what makes our weather channel unique is that we are one big happy weather family. We all share the same moments and not just weather. So we'll see. Tammy, what's that? What did I turn you on with my buddy Dennis? Rain. Let's see. Good question. I like questions. What's that? Rain in the Panhandle this upcoming weekend. Ashley, yeah, the Panhandle rains might not be the weekend. It might actually stretch a little bit into next week, a little bit later. So it might not be a Panhandle rain. But hey, before I get going with the hellos, I do want to thank ABC Fine Wine and Spirits, as everybody's saying hello. First big supporter of Mike's Weather page, and who doesn't like a good Floridian hurricane party, unofficially. So when you're shopping for storm supplies, they are not tax-free at ABC, but they're good tasting storm supplies. So we appreciate that. I got a couple more shout-outs here in a little bit. I'm going to put the radar up. All right, now we say hello for a few minutes, and then we'll get right into the weather. That's the current radar. Look at all that rain. Have you all seen the sunshine in 3 damn days? Who sings that? Billy K, what's up, buddy? Jim Smith, what's up? I knew it was Jim Smith in Ruskin. He's snoring all right. Jerry in Galveston. Oh, yeah, exactly. Oh, I did post that, Tammy. Folly, what's up, Ian? Ian, you got a little something to watch here down the road, buddy. 19, 20, 21, something like that. Hey, Jay, how's Tallahassee doing? The small orange blob. We're going to talk about that, Stephen. The one by the southeast coast is definitely going to affect somebody in the southeast U.S. It's not going out to sea. NHC bumping up to 40%. Remember that circle, this means it could be a tropical depression. The circle never means hurricane. It just means it could be an organized low pressure area. And we're going to get into that. Promise. Good morning, Chandra from Belize. Hey, Margaritaville is heading to Belize. I love Margaritaville. And you should too. You should come on our cruises. We got our June cruise coming up. We're almost sold out of cabins. An amazing deal. Next June, our 5th annual cruise leaving out of Tampa Bay. Inglewood wants some rain. I think it was south of you, Amanda. What's cooking, Mike? Nothing. No cooking from me. Appreciate it, Melba. Anybody else real quick? There's our cruise list. Texas, nah, not really anything, Brian, except, no. Remember we talked about setting your watch? And it just rains any dang time it wants to right now. We had thunder this morning. I saw lightning last night. The OG. All right, let's get into it. Now, the resort, everything in Margaritaville is awesome. And we got an end of the year party that I have not officially announced yet, but it's the full first weekend after Thanksgiving. And it'll be at the Auburndale, Margaritaville. All right, there's your radar. Man, a lot of rain. We're going to get into the weather, and then we're going to say hello at the end here. Because most people won't want to talk weather. But look at that. Man, we got a lingering front. We got a lot of little popcorn storms here off the Gulf, man. It was, I heard it. I thought, I remember waking up and seeing lightning. And I was like, is that lightning? I could have just put the radar on. Would have been a lot easier than me sitting there with one eye open waiting on the next lightning strike. But we did have little storms out there. A lot of rain in the upper Gulf. This is going to continue all the way up through the Carolinas, and this is going to drift a little bit. So let's talk about that a little bit. First, here's your satellite. In a nutshell, we're going to talk about a few things. So this is it. I'm going to talk about a lot. But this, Dexter's pulling off. He's leaving behind some energy, a little low here that might end up doing something like that. There's a continuation of a low right here that's kind of showing up that might do that. I think this is going to get marked at 2 o'clock or 8 o'clock today. This is the wave that's getting juicy. But because there's so much weakness up here going on, the likelihood is this is going to be attracted to that. That's the other orange area. And then down the road, high pressure looks to build back in, and future waves are kind of heading west. So the three things officially on the NHC map, but that's kind of in a nutshell, and it all makes sense to me. I'm going to show you here. You can almost see the little thing. I think that's a PV streamer, they call that. Philip, I think that's the guy's name, or Pepin. But anyway, it's a upper jet stream leftover trough PhD. Hey, by the way, big shout out to my buddy Reed Timmer. The Gizmo passed, and if you follow Reed Gizmo, I think he's 17 years old. So that's a heck of a run, 17 years. But I just wanted to say that because Reed and I share a lot of the weird things over the years, like blowing up our main vehicle in Ian, and then chasing Nicole in rental cars and meeting up, and this, unfortunately, Hunter passed, and now Gizmo passed the same year. So I feel for you, Reed, if you're listening, man. I know you love that dog. Shared a lot of good content over the years with you two. Kind of inspired me a little bit too, honestly. So if you see the post, tell them you heard it from MWP. And all right, so here's weather in a nutshell real quick. There's only one spot in the whole map that's got a heat advisory. I can't believe it, man. A week ago, the whole dang eastern U.S. was covered with excessive heat warnings. Look at that. South Florida is the only one. We've had this lingering front. Do you know it was in the 60s? I should have posted that. We had highs in Georgia yesterday in the 60s. High temperatures. A lot of it was the cloud cover, but 60s for a high in Georgia yesterday. Now, all this gray up there is Canadian wildfire smoke. So it's smoky up north. We got flood watches in green, and we got some flash flooding going on in South Carolina right now too. So this is going to be the problem area in the next couple days. Here's real quick. I always like to show the Storm Prediction Center just to give you a feel of what's coming the next few days. All your stuff staying over Harold Country up there, top of the U.S. This is storms today. Now, we had a tornado yesterday in Florida. It can happen. We have a pretty strong jet stream. I was looking at it this morning with the Brew crew, but we had a middle central, pretty darn impressive. I shared it on X. The video was phenomenal of a tornado yesterday for Florida. But your main storm lines today. Here's tomorrow. It's going to slide a little bit. And then on Thursday, this is, let's see, Tuesday, Wednesday. This is Thursday. Everything's staying up top. Jet stream's kind of locked up there. So that's it. So if you're wondering if organized severe weather next 3 days, everything's staying up north. How about that? Here's the rainfall we talked about. We're getting into tropics real soon, I promise. This is rainfall to come. We've got some heavy numbers, 2, 3, 4 inches possible here. And a lot of this is over eastern Georgia, South Carolina, even to Florida. So there you go. I mean, that's the lingering front. We got excessive rainfall outlook today in the yellow, so we could see some flooding. We already are seeing flooding in South Carolina. So this is today. This is all from that lingering front. Rainfall we have had, crazy. This is the last 72 hours, but we got some areas that have had 10 inches plus. So definitely some big pockets of rain there along the Georgia, Alabama line. Had some pockets here in Savannah. Some heavy rain in Savannah. Look at that, man. Savannah had 10, 12 inches of rain in a couple days. So there you go. That's what we've had. Tornado sirens in Florida. Yeah, we just don't have a lot of tornadoes. I don't know. Roderick, what's up, buddy? That scary high pressure steering system coming off Africa due west. This very well, it could be. That's kind of what we're talking. Hey, Bobby, what's up? So anyway, a lot of rain, a lot of flooding, and there you go. So since we're talking about flooding, real quick, I told you I want to do one more shout out. So good friend of mine, Paul, U.S. Flood Control. We've had a lot of MWPs buy their products, and they do make some awesome alternatives to sandbags. And if you have any doorways, areas that need protection and you're not into sandbags, this is a great, quick, temporary, done, put it back away in the garage for hopefully not the next time. But I got a little video there with me showing you how it's built and everything. So they do a lot of stuff here in our state. So it means a lot to me to support them too. But definitely a good product if you're curious. I love looking at the windy map here. This is kind of what's going on. Obviously Dexter, but you can see this dead zone here that kind of, you're getting a little bit of spin here, okay? And we got a high pressure here that's helping turn. We got leftover frontal line helping turn. And about right there, we got a little surface low developing, okay? And if you look at the NHC chart, it almost is the same spot. You can see that right here. So I always go and confirm it. It's like a game to me. It's like an Easter egg hunt. I'm like, I look for where I think the center is, and then I look at the NHC, and there it is. Just a little bit east of Carolina and Florida-Georgia line there, and there you go. Boom, boom. So there's your center. And anyway, they bumped it up to 40%. Now, there's not a lot of models showing development. So this is one of them watching real-time situations. Okay, I think the NHC is probably where I'm at, and the models have just been terrible. So we got to use a little common sense and know that there's low shear here, eventual steering currents. There's kind of an upper level high setting up over top of it. So your 500 level winds are pretty calm. So it might have a little window to try to develop on that. Here's Dexter, by the way, if you're curious. I had a buddy from Carolina. This is where sometimes the media, the context of the post and the headlines is deceiving. So Ricky called me, Fred, and he goes, "What's this storm brewing off the North Carolina coast?" And I thought he was talking about the orange 40%er. And he was talking about Dexter. But the media made it sound like Dexter forming right off the coast. Well, there was nothing like, hey, it's going off to the northeast. So if you're just tuning in to find out about Dexter, that's where Dexter's going. It's not going anywhere. So winds are 40. Here's some satellite if you want to see what it looks like. Almost a naked swirl. We got a lot of wind shear on the upper level winds. So you can see that convection's barely hanging on its center right now. And a lot of it's getting pushed off to the northeast. If you're curious, and there's what it looks like. I love this satellite. If I had to pick my favorite satellite, it's the red, green, blue RGB satellite. The lower level clouds are the yellow, and the upper level clouds are white. So it's really cool to see the surface circulation underneath the convection, and you get an idea of where everything's flowing, indicating a lot of wind shear, which is obvious. So there's that. All right, so here's your update. So they did bump up our spot to 40. They're saying eventual west and then eventual north. That seems to be the trend. This little guy is questionable still. More are saying a recurve. I think if I had to pick, I'm going to show you why, but I think most logically it would go to the north because it's following Dexter. But GFS is keeping us honest. And like I said, this other little area here, I think it's going to get mentioned later. We'll see with the afternoon models. And then we got some waves we got to talk about after that. And I got Daytona on my mind. So I love... Have I seen anything? Yeah, I see it all. I love the comments asking about vacation plans. Well, we're supposed to go to Daytona, right? So every time I look at the models, I'm asking Mike, what about Daytona? And I'm trying to answer myself. And to be honest with you, I called my buddy Austin. I posted on a Daytona thread. I hope we don't have to deal with the storm for Daytona. I hope. All right, so here's the kind of in a nutshell too with the ensembles. Not a lot of European support on the spot here, even though I was a little surprised. To tell you the truth, I didn't think the NHC would bump it to 40%. Honestly, I thought it might go down to 20%, but they went to 40%. And I think they're using Climo. And you know, yesterday's post, if you read my post, every post about the spot yesterday, that area is sneaky. The warm Gulf Stream and the Western Atlantic waters are warmer than normal, so that's probably why they went to 40%. Just from common sense, that area could, you know, pop something. One is Dexter. Bye. Here's 3. Most of the European ensembles. So these are 10-day maps. And the interesting thing with the Euro AI, I was surprised, is not turning our spot, not even showing it. So, you know, these maps run out to August the 14th. So August 14th, August 14th, August 14th, August 14th, August 14th. So, you know, whatever's here, it's August 14th. A couple lines here, the same wave, August 14th way up here now. August 14th. So it kind of gives you an idea of time frame, 10 days from now. So none of these things we're talking about, the only ones that are within the next week are this little spots right here. So what does that mean? Well, it means I don't think there's a lot of confidence on that wave yet out in the middle Atlantic, and I don't think it's a guarantee 100%. I screenshotted 2 big-time Mets that said that number 3 is going to be a fish storm and to quit talking and quit hyping it. And I'm telling you, every year I see never say never in the tropics. There's a lot of dusty, dry air out there right now. I've seen a million storms keep going west because they don't develop and they ride along those strong 500 millibar upper level winds because they're weaker. Weaker systems go west. So, you know, not 100% guaranteed 3 is going to be a fish storm is what I'm getting at. And that's not hyping. Trust me. If you think that's hyping, please tell me how it's hyping. So. Brian Martin. Thank you, Brian. Ashley, go away. So I hope that makes sense. Daytona 2, Lauren. Awesome. Well, come by and say hi. We're in the spot. We're right next to Red 38. Emily Rose, morning. Try to read more comments, but so like I said, I work so hard on my messaging. So the 2 spots the NHC is talking about, the orange 40% off the southeast coast, there's just moisture there. Okay, there's not a lot of winds there. Okay, we're gonna start watching for persistent convection. Models aren't showing anything, developing into anything too strong. So we still trust the blend of models, okay? Doesn't mean something can't be sneaky last second. Chantel, the last second, you know, got down almost to under 1,000 millibars. So warm waters, Gulf Stream, the geography of the land right there, it's kind of like the BOC. You know, you watch that. And leftover fronts basically have a dead zone of shear, and they have a little bit. And the timing for this orange spot is Friday, Saturday. Okay, that's the trend too. So if you're wondering, Carolinas, Georgia, Virginia a little bit, it would be Friday to Saturday. We're going to show you all those, okay? The other spot, number 3, that the NHC is watching, the Euro's very convinced this thing's going to curve. A couple other models, but then we also have the GFS and a couple other models saying it might just go week west. So 3 is still a big question mark, still a long ways away, over a week plus, okay? This whole time frame was always been Sunday, Monday, in this 50 to 60 degree mark, Sunday, Monday. And today's Tuesday. So still several days before it gets to here. All right, that makes sense, I think. All right, I like to look at these little guys. These are on weathernerds.org. This kind of shows you low pressure centers. And And what we're going to see here is a bunch of little L's popping here originally. Notice that a lot of them are 1,000 millibars, which is not strong. Rain, maybe, if it lingers, but nothing's really showing lingering. We're watching this clump right here. This is the Euro ensembles. We're going to show you the GFS ensembles next. And then we're going to see a bunch of little L's popping here south of Florida, more into the weekend sliding up. And you just notice the pattern, the flow. Like this is flowing, this is flowing. Eventually, this is flowing. The only temporary break is going to be this spot here. Does it make that, or does this high close off, and does it go that way? So the European ensembles are cool to look at. Here's a bunch of little L's. Doesn't mean hurricane. It just means low pressure. Here is the main cluster of the other spots. So these are the two spots the NHC is watching right here. And you can see quite a few of them. Some of them even miss. Okay, kind of curving now. But look at all these little L's popping here. This is Saturday. And then, you know, the Euro's got a strong northwest pole. Now, there's a weakness here because of all this stuff going on here with the new orange spot with Dexter. This is Sunday. And there's, you know, a bunch of little lows. I think they're going to mark it. You know, I really think they're probably going to mark it. Now, the only thing you got to wonder about this Gulf area is, you know, two days, a couple of these are showing 990 millibar. And that could be named. Starting to see our next wave entering the picture now, okay? And this goes out to Tuesday. Actually, the latest run of Euro ensembles are just barely clipping North Carolina. I'm not too sure what this is. I think this is left over. If you figure it out like this, this is Monday night. This is Monday. Remember I was saying basically, but I think it speeds it up. I think these are a couple weaker members maybe. I don't know what these little lines are, but this is definitely the clump here of and here's our next wave popping in the scene. And if we just go to 10 days, it's a lot of lines, I understand, but we're seeing definite signs of something trying to get going with the stronger high building back in. So that's everything I've been, you know, not just me talking about it, everybody talking about it. Let's look at the GFS ensemble suite. Remember, these are on weathernerds.org. We use Weather Nerds and Tropical Tidbits. MWP supports them. When I say you all support them because all of our Brew crew and app users, all that, you know. And we had, you know, MWP donated last year almost $5,000 to different things, and it's all because of you all. We're on pace this year to do about $10,000. I got to make the announcement, but we raised, and then personal money. You know, I do a lot of sporting events. I do a lot of local charities, a lot of donations, and a lot of that's supporting sites like Weather Nerds and Tropical Tidbits and others, because Matt is the name of the, I guess I can say kid. He's younger than me. All right, so here's the GFS ensembles. Notice not a lot of L's, and then they start popping about Friday. And not a lot of support. That's why I was a little surprised. But still seeing some lines here on the other area that might end up spinning up. This is Sunday. So remember, I keep saying Sunday. That I like the ongoing consistency in the messaging, and this 50-60 mark seems like it's Sunday right there. Okay, that hasn't changed. The only thing with the GFS is we have a lot more going off to the west, and then here's that new wave coming into the scene. So not a lot of confidence there at the end of 10 days, but definitely more of a west pattern. Now, there is a lot of dust. I don't have the dust map loaded up, but I do want to show you this. All right, so this is pretty cool. I was thinking the other day of a way to make it easier to understand for me too. What's up, Ann Peterson? So I was trying to think of a way this morning to make sense of everything. So this, I think, makes sense. So this is a water precipitable map. I keep getting these damn spam calls. This is water precipitable map. This is the moisture in the air. And it really, I think, is a good way to look at what's happening up above the tropics, okay? Red's a lot of moisture. And it kind of tells you the weather patterns of low pressures and what's going on. But so what's cool about it is, let's take a look at right here. We have Dexter. Let me circle Dexter. What we're going to focus on first is Dexter. Watch the red extend down, okay? And then the flow pushes back up. So, not 100% sure if it's definition of PV streamer or not, but I think this is all in the same lines. Some go to get their doctorates just to learn about this. But it's basically a continuation of the upper level frontal trough moisture in a nutshell. All right, so Dexter goes away. Notice this little piece now gets a little juicy, right? This is that area that's orange. And then we got a little spot down here doing the same thing. So that gets wrapped around. Then this little spot comes into play and goes up into the Gulf. Okay? So those are kind of the, here's next Sunday, Monday. That's why I think if we were to get this little area right here marked, it would probably be, since 7 days, it probably wouldn't be marked this morning. But definitely can kind of see that moisture swinging around as areas to maybe watch. And, this little Gulf one, could be sneaky too. I mean, it's, a day or two over the Gulf. So we'll see at 2 o'clock if they mention it or not. Okay, now we got this other little area right here. This is the other orange spot right here. This is the other spot right here. And then we're going to be seeing another one right here. So that orange spot, look at this big weakness right here. That's low pressure weakness. That's from Dexter and the continuation of this new area, which pretty much means there's no strong high pressure. So logically, this system here would naturally get pulled up into that and wrap around the high pressure that's now over here somewhere. Systems circle high pressure areas. The only thing that would prevent that from happening is if our system doesn't develop, okay? And if you look at things like upper level winds, how many times in years past, Bobby, have we seen systems, the NHC does this, and then the next update they do this, and then the next update they do this, and then they do this, and they do this, and then they do this. Well, that's because if our system doesn't develop, weaker waves go west, okay? They just naturally don't organize fast enough, and they just keep on, getting upper level winds, pushing them to the west. And so over the time, here's your 500 millibar winds. Over time, this thing will end up going a little farther west. So that would be the only thing. If it doesn't develop because of dusty, dry air, and but it has some convection today. So, but I'm just saying, it's not a guarantee, because weaker goes west and misses that, high pressure builds back in, and then it has nowhere to go. So that would be the only outside outlier that the GFS is showing on that. So, but it's pretty cool to see. I mean, this is what the Euro is showing. Euro's really been stuck on this thing getting pulled up, and then high pressure builds in. Now watch these little waves here. This is what like I said, if I had a concern as far as what's been consistent showing is the wave train now starting to develop. This is next Wednesday. This is the 13th. So if we got people, I know we got people watching the Virgin Islands and the Barbados. So this would be where I would start watching a little bit more, as you see a couple little waves here, and it's been consistent. I don't even have to look. I know it's been consistent. There's a 12Z, and the latest 00Z. So, past 10 days, come on. I don't really want to be, busted on that. But, it does develop a pretty powerful system. And I'm going to show you all the latest. But we're seeing a lot more moisture here in the main development region, too. This is, like I said, this is the 13th. So that makes sense, right? All right, let's look at tropical tidbits. I want to show you all the latest there. Hello, Levi. I know he lives in Hawaii, so he's probably sleeping. I think we'll look at the dust. Who's that? Tammy, yes. Bad air, yes, Angelica. There's definitely Diane. So moisture is in humidity. It's more humidity, Ashley. That maps P watt, which is moisture in the air, how heavy the atmosphere is. More P watt, more chances of rain's going to fall. 2 inches is usually the number that you look at, but that's more the moisture in the air. Oh yeah, Hebert's box. I used to say Herbert's, but it's Hebert. John. Yeah, we haven't said that this year. All right, so here's the GFS. This is kind of what I want to show you everybody. Now, we're not seeing a lot of development here. We're not seeing a lot of development here. The whole point of looking at this GFS is going to be looking at the Atlantic wave, because we're not seeing a lot of development on models here and here. But it is going to up the rain no matter what. I have the rain maps up for the folks in the Carolinas. Okay, we're going to do that, I promise. But here's basically what I want to show you. Let's go to right here. This is Sunday, Monday, same time frame, 50, 60 degree mark, right? But notice it's kind of weak. Now, the Euro has not been awesome this year either. So, and neither has the GFS. So I don't know what to tell you. But upper level winds here are showing you that if our system does not lift, then it's probably going to get trapped under a high pressure system. This is the current wave that the NHC is watching. This is Sunday, this weekend coming up. So this is why it's important to not ignore that this is not 100% fish storm. And I don't want it to be anything more than fish storm, but I would love to go back to one of these Mets that criticizes me all the time, telling everybody that this is guaranteed fish storm. And maybe it will be, but we learned from Florence a long time ago. You never say never, because everybody said that was going to be a fish storm. Everybody did. I did one time. I fell in the trap and did the same thing. All right, so here's what the GFS is showing let's go show you the last 8 runs of the GFS, just to kind of keep it real. This is next Monday, the 11th, and the latest run here is Friday, the 15th. 10 days away. So, but definitely that's the wave that we're watching out there. 00Z run. There it is there. This is Sunday, Monday, and it fish storms it. Close to Bermuda, though. We haven't talked about Bermuda much this year. And here is that little spot Monday showing up. Very weak, but see that little blue dot? There's a little dot there. These are the other little systems there that we're kind of watching. Last night is 18Z on the GFS. More of a really close skirt. Yesterday's 12Z on the GFS. More into the Gulf. That was weaker west, then it gets going. So you just get the idea. The GFS is just a little more west, okay? That's all I'm going to say about that. Let's look at the latest Euro. What is this blue line? All right, so the latest Euro is obviously showing a recurve. And there it is right there. See it? Boom. This is Saturday, this week coming up, the 9th. And there it curves it. A little bit of development off the Carolina coast on Saturday. So Friday, I had a bunch of people ask me, Friday the rains will start coming up to the Carolinas. Here's our little blue spot to Gulf. There's our little spot there. Watch our little spot there. And it curves off. Now here's that other one that, we'll see. GFS is not showing that one. So again, it's like, here's Thursday, August 14th, and the GFS not showing any system down here. And then you go to the Euro on August 14th, and we have that. So, but it's weak, 1003. And then it really gets going in the Caribbean. So Ian in Jamaica, if it was coming to you, buddy, it'd be the following weekend, the Saturday, the 15th, 16th, right here. Okay, so there's that run. Yesterday's 12Z run on the Euro. basically the same thing. There's our system, the 13th, 14th. And that track's a little more scary for you know who, because it's a little more angle. Misses Hispaniola. So that's kind of the, if I had an area to like, that would be one. But again, you know, so far away. Very irresponsible to post that right now. I'm talking to myself. And then here's that recurve. And here's a little low. This is Friday, August the 8th. This is that spot the NHC went up to 40%. And here's our little low here Sunday off of Florida, and kind of goes up towards the upper Gulf. So there's that. Canadian model. Let's look at the last two runs of Canadian. Not a bad model, believe it or not. It's showing a recurve close to Bermuda. A little more development here in the Gulf Saturday of our system that might be marked by the NHC. There's a little bump there. Nothing organized. Too bad. And then there's our little spot down on the 14th. So that's where the Euro is predicting something around the 13th, 14th too, right here. So there's a little consistency. Yesterday's 12Z. Oh, let's see. A little more. See, here's the African wave that we're dealing with now. Keeps it west. Here's Sunday, Monday, the same time frame for the islands there. If it was going to impact the northern part of the islands, it'd be Sunday, Monday this weekend coming up. Canadian and the 12Z yesterday kept it weaker west and kind of had that East Coast vibe to it. So that's all making sense, right? Let's take a look at a couple other models real quick, and then we'll call it a day. So I like the consistency. I feel good in the messaging today. I don't think I lost anybody. There's areas that we're watching and hopefully stressing that none of this is scary yet. Here's the latest UK, and it's showing a weak low here Saturday, pulling northward. Not really showing anything here. Here's our middle Atlantic spot on Sunday, and it's pulling it up too. So UK is usually a pretty good model. See this little spot right here? Follow that right there. That's the Atlantic wave we're talking about now. And this only goes out 168 hours. So, but it's supporting that recurve too. And yesterday, I don't even care about the 12Z. All right, then I like the KMA model though. Let's see what this one is. It's kind of the weird model I like. It's showing a recurve of our Atlantic wave also. And down the road, it is not really showing anything other than a disorganized mess down there. So yeah, a lot of consistency. So more models say a recurve on the far Atlantic. It definitely is worth watching for anything sneaky. Let's look at the actual individual ensembles here. And if we go out 15 days, this is the Euro. Let's stop it right here. Let's open this in a new tab. So like I said, when you look at 15 days, this is 13.5 days. But if you look at that, this is the end of 13.5 days. Each one of these little lines is the end of a run. That's where each one of these little guys would be, or girls, at the end of 13 days. But that's not 100% model support. That's just this ensemble's. So if we were to get a wave that was going to go west-northwest, and you're worried about timing, 13.5 days from today is where it would be. But there are a lot of red ones, and that's what I wanted to point out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 51 members of the Euro, so it's not a 0% chance that we might have a wave here that we need to talk about. And like I said, around the 13th, it's going to be somewhere right there. That's the Euro. 10 days out, barely seeing the wave down in here. The AI, I'm not very impressed with at all this year. I want to look at the Google AI though. But the AI, so here's what the AI is doing in the Gulf. Look. So again, we'll see if the AI does any good or not, but it has not seemed like it's done really good. But that little bit of low pressure spin that I showed yesterday, now is, I think it's going to get marked by the NHC later today. There are a few Euro AIs pulling up this would be the 9th here, end of the week. Blue is 980 to 999 pressure, so that could be organized. And again, there's 51, that's not 100% majority of the Euro ensembles, but it gives you the idea what it thinks. And you know what? The Euro AI is not giving our 40% chance any chance. So this could be an epic fail for the Euro AI because the NHC actually went higher on their chances, and the Euro AI is saying nothing. But if you go to 15-day on that, there you go. We got a little bit down here, a little bit of recurve. So it's just not worth showing that. The Euro AI has not been really. It's all over the damn place. I showed it yesterday. Every run's completely different than the run before, and that's usually drive you crazy. Here's the GFS ensembles. Seen a couple here, nothing major. Here's our wave. See the wave going farther west? And it's got more. See, it has very little recurve. So we got the GFS completely opposite than the Euro. That's why we need to keep an eye on that far Atlantic wave. Because you go to 15 days, there's a lot more high pressure flow on the GFS than the Euro. So, like I said, nothing to worry about. These are just areas that could potentially be spots to watch. Like myself, going to Daytona, I look at things like that too. Tropical storm or tropical depression chances, obviously very high. Here's our wave, majority curving it, but then here's our next wave coming in the scene. Like I said, nearing about the 13th here to the islands. This is the 14th pretty much, 13th, 14th. And that'll be kind of where we're watching for the next tropical storm development, possibly. And that's the majority of models. Cool. Rainfall, let's say. All right, so southeast, let's say this little low gets going. Here's what the Euro is showing for Friday. So that lingering front's going to linger, and then here's that teeny-weeny little low pressure on Friday, pulling to the north. So we can have some heavy rain there, eastern North Carolina there Friday, lingering into Saturday. And there's our little low trying to tighten up. Remember, we have a front to the north, so we might have a lot of dry air finally happening, so that the main impacts would be north and to the east as a rotating tropical low moves out of here. So we could see some dry air on the backside. This is Sunday morning. There's your humidity levels. So not a lot of moisture on the Euro, a lot of dry air wrapping around the backside of it. So Friday, Saturday seems like the wet days. Here's Friday night. See the moisture. So again, nothing's really showing up too strong. I mean, we got a little low here. Here's that setup down here in the Gulf. A little low showing early part of next week. Kind of getting kicked off there to the upper part. So really, it's, everything's consistent on the rainfall Friday, Saturday. Here's the icon. Usually does a good job showing you the rain too. Here's Thursday, Friday. It's staying offshore, obviously, and pulls it off to the northeast. And then we really don't have anything brewing down here. Let's see here, a little farther down time frame. There it is, a little low. There's a little low, 1014. Yeah, so I mean, let's give the icon another chance. It's usually pretty good at sniffing out things. It's failed this year too. But that's the area the NHC is watching. There's your range Friday, Saturday. Again, it could be pulling down some dry air with it, so it might not be a huge rain event. That's the good news. So we're going to look at that here in a second. And here's that secondary little low showing up Sunday, sliding up towards the upper Gulf. And that could be interesting. 10-12, again, nothing to stress about. Canadian model, let's take a looky here. There's our blob of rain on Saturday morning. And it pulls out, and then we're watching down here Monday, Tuesday, and not really seeing anything there either. So there you go. Individual rain, though, I do think it'd be important to show you that. Let's take a look at that. 24-hour rain total maps here. Kind of give you a sense of when the rains are going to be happening. Oh, not temperature. Can you believe it? Look at these high temperatures. Unbelievable. Again today, 70s, 60s, 70s. Is that nuts? 69 in North Carolina. Charlotte, Raleigh. Bobby? Raleigh or Raleigh? I do this every year. 60s for a high today. Are you kidding me? Really? Raleigh? Really? All right, but here's your rainfall totals. We're going to look at 24-hour rainfall totals and see what you're talking about. So here's kind of what we got going on. So this is kind of, I mean, you can see here's going into Friday. Maybe your heaviest rain Friday, clipping Carolinas there. And then Sunday, Monday, it's pretty much gone. This is for the spot here in the Carolinas. So none of it's showing up too high. That's the good news, right? Here's that secondary blob early next week getting going in the Gulf possibly. And here's Monday, Tuesday. So you got more rain coming, Panhandle. And it looks like the weekend might be all right for the Panhandle. So don't be canceling any plans. Panhandle rains are definitely looking better in Upper Gulf. So, all right, Judah says R.A. Lee. I get that. Is it Raw or Ray? Ray Lee? Raw. Alicia got it right. Raw. Raleigh. No, now we're getting everybody confused. Raleigh or Raleigh? No, Lay. Raleigh. Now, you spelled it Lay. L-E-I-G-H is Lay. So Raleigh, Raleigh, Raleigh. So we got 3 different pronunciations. We got Ed with Raleigh, Christine with Raleigh, and then Alicia says Raleigh. Raw. Raleigh. There we go. NC Rob. I'm going to trust NC Rob because he's got North Carolina in the handle. Yeah, Ryan Mayu has weathermodels.com. That's what I'm on right now. I buy Pivotal weather too, but it's hard for me to use. Gus, appreciate you being a fan of the page. We got it all figured out. Raleigh. No, you spelled it right, Alex. That's the easier. R-O Roley. That could be Roley. How can we mess up the name? We got Roley now. Lee's sister. I don't know that one, Oliver. Anyway, all right. So I hope that made sense. We're going to hang out on the Brew Crew for a while. Let's see what you are talking about over there. Appalachia. I can say Appalachia, Mike Soul. Natalie, we got teachers. Hey, Judy. Brandy got a race car. What's a race car for, Brandy? We have family in Charlotte. We used to go to Charlotte a lot. Say your name, Sheila. All right. We'll be live tomorrow, Wednesday, okay? Same time, same place, 9:19 Eastern. I'm going to do a little video this afternoon. I usually wait to do the afternoon videos once the afternoon 12Z models and the Euro runs. So there's really, I like to do the little 90-second reel videos once a day. So we'll be doing another one of them this afternoon. So, where are you going to Lobster? I see a nice post page. The keys should be a little interesting, actually. Not stormy, but I think there might be a little increased rain chances with this little system hanging out down there. So I wouldn't cancel any plans. But I think South Florida could have a little more chances for rains and storms this weekend. We'll look at the latest computer-generated information here. Ooh, big letters. Let's make it smaller. Yeah, humidity's in the 80%. Friday, Saturday, Sunday 90s. Heat index 102. Rain chance only 50%, so that's not bad at all. Just 50% officially, so that's good. I mean 50%. It's summer in Florida. It's 50% everywhere. So yeah, not too bad. The Keys. Enjoy. Winds look light. Max wind 788. Now this could change obviously, but it doesn't look bad right now. So there you go. Catch me a lobster. Ashley, keep the rain away from Destin. Okay, just for you. Daytona, I know, August 23rd. Ugh. Where's the hatch? Oh. Steenhatchee? I would love to, Jacob. Anyway. All right. So, a lot of good info. Daytona is, oh, somebody's asking about Daytona. Lisa Clark, yeah. Man, and then I found out the guy I've been buying my spot from for Daytona 500 didn't reach out to me this year and lost the site. So, man, I'm going to have to start asking around for a spot. And I'm paying for it. God, every time I ask for somebody says, oh, you quit begging. I'm not begging. I pay over for a Daytona spot. So I called my guy yesterday. Let's see if he emailed me. Oh crap! I'm supposed to do these damn audio things. Forgot. Nothing yet. Longo, no Longo. He's at the vet. We'll have Longo tomorrow. We're gonna have his debut of his weight tomorrow. We'll see where he's at. I think he's on the low end of a Frenchie average. We're hoping he stays little. All right. Well, listen, we'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. We'll do a little video later today. And really nothing to watch until the afternoon models. So we'll take a break from